Is 5:01. Thank you. And we get things going. All right, you guys. Well, welcome everyone to a truck travel sales event. We're really excited to have you guys here with us tonight to present on some of our hiking and walking tours. So we invite you to get comfy. Hopefully you're bundled up on the couch, or maybe you're sitting at your desk, but kick up your feet and enjoy our presentation as we take you on an active vacation from your home today. So let's kick things off. My name is Anna. I am a fourth year guide here with Trek Travel. Just finished my fourth season, and hosting with me this evening, I have my lovely co-guide, Brian, who will be running us through our highlighted trips for this evening. Along with us by our side, we also have a very special guest. His name is Marcus. He is a hiking strength and fitness coach, and he was a founder of the Fit for Trips. He started this back in 2009, and he's going to share a little bit about how to get prepared for your next hiking adventure with us at the end of our presentation. He's a true asset to have on this call with us tonight, as he will kind of walk you through some of the tidbits and some of the worries that most people have when they go on these hiking trips and wipe those worries right away for you so you can join us on your next adventure. So thank you, Marcus, in advance for being here with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. All right, before we dive into our trip and everything in between, I just want to run through a quick few Zoom tips for you guys this evening. If you hover your mouse over your screen, you'll see a menu bar pop up on the bottom. On this menu bar, you're able to mute your mic and turn off your video, which we will ask that everybody do at this moment, just to kind of make sure everyone has a good listening experience and we don't have any background noise. And then another awesome tidbit in the bottom of the menu bar is also where you'll see the chat box option. Feel free to pop that open. Brian just sent us a message in there. Thanks, Brian. And this chat box is an awesome tool for you guys to use. If a question pops up mid-presentation, feel free to type it in there at any point, and either one of us will get to the answer for you. And then if we don't get to it, or it's a great question, we might bring it up again at the end during our Q&A session. All right, so with everyone's mic and video turned off, we can get started with our presentation. So Trek Travel has traditionally guided many of our guests along our roads on our cycling vacation. It's how we got started into our bread and butter of vacations. But this evening, we are veering off the beaten track. And tonight, we're going to invite you to lace up your hiking boots as we venture into a path less traveled. On a Trek Travel trip, we begin each day with our route talks, whether you're cycling or hiking, just so you know where you're going for that day and what you can expect to see. So here's a quick little route talk for this evening. We will start off with sharing who we are at Trek Travel, and then move into why we think you should travel with us and what sets us apart from others in our industry. Then we will climb into tonight's trip spotlights, what everyone is waiting for, where Brian is going to highlight both our Italian Dolomites and our French and Italian Alps hiking and walking tours. And then we'll quickly descend back down the mountain and go into some details about how to book your trip. And then we'll wrap up with both Marcus's presentation as well as Q&A at the end for any lingering questions you may have for us or for Marcus. All right. Who's ready to get started? Let's dive in. First, we're going to tell you about who we are at Trek Travel and what we do. At Trek Travel, we believe in taking you on vacations that will move you, both literally and figuratively. We curate active vacations all over the world, and we are always scouting out new locations to take you. We've been doing this for over 22 years, and in 2024, we were finally able to launch our newest product line of hiking and walking tours. It's been a long time coming for us, and we were really excited to launch this into the world. And this has greatly expanded the locations that we can take you to. Over the last 22 years of doing this, we have also been winning awards. We take real pride in being voted one of the top vacation companies by our guests and our partners, including being voted number 5 by Travel and Leisure for 2024's World's Best Tour Operator. This is our highest finish ever. Sorry, I'm having a glitch on my end. Now I want to tell you about why you should choose to travel on a hiking and walking trip with us and what we do to set ourselves apart from other tour operators. Normally, we're going to play our why trek travel video here, but instead I'm going to share a quick video about our 4 hiking trips that we launched in 2024 and a little overview about why you should travel with us and what sets us apart. So without further ado, we have a video from our very own President Tanya Burke.
For the past 20 years, we've dedicated ourselves to perfecting your cycling vacation of a lifetime. We're bringing that same magic, expertise, hospitality, and commitment to elevating every aspect of your vacation to our new adventure, hiking and walking tours. Our hiking and walking tours are packed with everything that makes trek travel great. The best guides, luxury accommodations, expert itineraries, unmatched flexibility, and the support from the moment you book to well after you depart. We invite you to join us on our new adventures as we continue to go the extra mile to give you more ways to actively see the world. Known for its cliffside villages, Cinque Terre is an amazing destination where you can discover the vibrant colors of Italy's Ligurian coast, where hiking trails weave through lemon groves and vineyards, leading you to the freshest Mediterranean cuisine. Get off the beaten path and venture to Scotland, where the adventure starts in Edinburgh's hidden trails, leading to the coastal beauty of St. Andrews and the wild Cairngorms National Park. From castle exploration to whiskey tastings, immerse yourself in Scotland's rugged landscapes. In Ireland, discover the breathtaking cliffs of Moher, climb Mount Brandon in the Dingle Peninsula, and soak in the rugged vistas of the Atlantic coast. Experience the warmth of Dingle with its traditional music and hearty meals. Experience a new side of Portugal as you hike the rugged coast of Rota Vicentina to the vibrant town of Lagos. Savor the rich flavors of Alentejo wines and immerse yourself in the local culture. We're excited to share a new way to see the world. Let's step into adventure together.
Awesome. Super exciting stuff. All right. Now I am going to ask everyone to please pop open the chat box here because we have a fun little trivia question for you guys, and you can feel free to put your answer into the chat box. So quick moment to test your knowledge of our 2024 hiking trips. Hopefully you were paying attention. So our question is, which of the below is not an original hiking and walking destination launched in 2024? Was it Cinque Terre, Portugal, Ireland, Scotland, or none of the above? Whoa, we're coming in fast. I think everyone's just putting the answer that the previous person put. All right, awesome. Well, it doesn't really take too long for everyone to get that one correct. I think every single person got it. Luckily, you were paying attention to the video, but the answer is E. It was none of the above because all of these had launched in 2024 for us for this year. Now, if you've been keeping up with our 2025 launch, we have added 3 new destinations for our hiking and walking calendar to be added for next year. We've added Tuscany, the Dolomites, and the French Alps, 2 of which we are highlighting here tonight. So grab your backpack and hiking poles because in just a few minutes, we're taking you on an adventure by foot. Now, before we get into that, though, you might be wondering, what are the different activity levels that you can find on a trek travel trip? This is a pretty common question that we get with many of our guests, both on our cycling and our hiking and walking tours. So we want to highlight that we classify all of our trips by 4 levels, regardless of what trip you're going on. We have level 1 all the way to level 4. Level 1 is for our leisure hiking, walkers, or cyclists, and it's going to be easier distance, more digestible distance, easier, flatter terrain, and or less skill level needed in order to participate in these trips. Whereas level 4 is going to be some super long days out on trails, much more strenuous terrain, and definitely need a lot of preparation and fitness to be able to attend a level 4 trip. So what are the different styles of the trip that we offer, you ask? So we have three different styles of trip that we offer nowadays. So we have our road cycling. This is by far our largest category that we have offered, as it was our bread and butter and how we even got started into riding or into vacations. And then we also offer gravel cycling trips as well as our second category. Gravel was launched in the end of 2022 to kick off in 2023, which was really exciting for us. And this is for our guests who are looking to get more off the beaten path and have either gravel or mountain bike riding experience. And then last but certainly not least, our newest category, and the reason that you're here with us tonight, is to step into a new era of trek travel with our hiking and walking tours. Our new tours are packed with everything that makes trek travel great. We have the best guides, luxury accommodations, expert itineraries, unmatched flexibility, and support from the moment you book until well after you depart on your trip. All delivered with what truly sets us apart, which is our unparalleled hospitality that we take pride and joy in. All right, so let's move into what's included on these trips and what we offer at Trek Travel. As you can see, everything on the left-hand side of the screen is what's included on all of our trip styles, regardless on where you go. And on the right, you'll see it divided out on what's included on our cycling tours. And then on the bottom corner, you'll see what's included on our hiking and walking tours. So on these trips, we trade the bike and the Garmin GPS and the helmet for a backpack, some hiking poles, and a Trek Travel water bottle. Now, the list of things that aren't included on our trips is much shorter. Some typical things, the transportation to and from a region, lodging before and after a trip, those things are not included on any of our trips. But we are proud to partner with a travel service provider that we can connect you with if you're looking for some assistance on some of the trip planning details, both before and after your vacation. Some other things not included are some meals. We like to invite our guests on what we call our guest choice evening dinners, and sometimes every once in a while a lunch. And these are for you to kind of break away from the group and to kind of have an afternoon or a few hours on your own to explore the local cuisine of the region you're traveling to. Of course, we're always happy to provide numerous recommendations for you to make sure you have the best time. But these times are kind of a good way for you to get away and kind of do your own thing on your own time. All right, now let's open up our chat boxes and get ready for our second trivia question for this evening. I also love this picture here. But what is the average daily mileage for our level 2 hiking trips? This is a slightly tricky question because we didn't go through what the mileage would look like for our different level trips, but maybe everyone can make a guess. It's either A, up to 5 miles, B, 4 to 6, C, 6 to 10, or D, 7 to 15. Maybe someone has the Trek Travel website pulled up, or everyone's just making really good guesses. All right. Wow, wow, wow. All right. Yeah, it looks like most of you guys got it right. It is B, 4 to 8 miles. So on our website, we have detailed out the necessary skills and fitness requirements that you should have for each activity level to make sure that you're choosing the perfect trip for your ability. But of course, if you're looking for more help and make sure that you are prepared for your trip, our friend Marcus on here tonight from Fit for Trips is happy to help make sure that you're set up for success and fully ready to tackle every trail on your upcoming journey. All right, now as we climb to the point that you've all been waiting for, the section where we actually dive into the trip details. So tonight I'm going to pass off the baton to Brian to run us through both our Italian Dolomites and our French and Italian Alps hiking trips with you. So Brian, without further ado, take it away.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you all for joining me. I am Brian. This finishing up my third year with Trek Travel, and I'm super excited to share these two hiking and walking tours with you. So tonight we're going to discover the French and Italian Alps on an adventurous hiking and walking tour, starting in Chamonix at the base of the majestic Mont Blanc, and ascend the gondolas to challenging trails that reveal breathtaking sights such as Lac Blanc and Aiguille du Midi. Cross glaciers using the panoramic Mont Blanc gondola in Italy. And please bear with me, y'all. I am doing my best to make these pronunciations right. So the terrain features breathtaking views with some steep climbs and long descents. Most trails are well marked, but you should anticipate uneven and some rocky sections. On certain days, we'll hike up to 8,250 feet above sea level and ascend 12,500 feet by gondola. Our French and Italian Alps hiking and walking tour is ideal for our level 4 hikers. Mont Blanc, the tallest peak in the Alps, is the tallest peak in the Alps at 15,781 feet. It offers stunning snow-capped views and stands out with its impressive presence. Take the highest vertical ascent cable car in the world and enjoy breathtaking views of the Mont Blanc Massif. Col du Lassane, an essential point on the Tour du Mont Blanc, Trail is famous for its dramatic scenery and historic significance as a route used by the ancient traders and travelers. Elise and Thomas welcome you to their traditional mountain hut, which has been in the same family since it was built in 1840. Historically, these huts offer temporary shelter to local alpine farmers tending to their herds during the summer. Today, it provides a cozy place to stay and savor hearty local meals, often featuring regional specialties such as Beaufort cheese. But now, let's bid farewell to this stunning region and move on to our next highlight this evening. The Dolomites, a mountain range brimming with hidden gems and unparalleled beauty, perfect for hiking enthusiasts, and it awaits your exploration. And fun fact about the Dolomites trip too, I was speaking with one of the guides who's been with Trek Travel from the beginning. There's only 3 employees who've been with Trek Travel from day one, so 23 years now. And when he was asked where his favorite place to guide was, his answer was the Dolomites. So that stuck with me forever, and now it is the #1 spot that I want to go. So keep that in mind as we look at this incredible scenery. So this terrain offers stunning views with occasional steep climbs and long descents, often on narrow paths at medium to high altitudes. Some hikes follow well-maintained trails and meadows with gentle inclines, while others take you over uneven, rocky terrain with some exposed sections. For this reason, we recommend that participants are sure-footed and not prone to vertigo or dizziness. Our Dolomites hiking and walking tour is most suitable for our level 3 hikers who have experience and are in good physical condition. And here is our day 2 hike. You'll explore the highest mountain pasture in Europe, set against the stunning backdrop of the majestic Sazulongo Mountain. And this is our hike on the 3rd day. Hike well above the famous Val de Gardena Valley and take in the breathtaking views from the Alpe du Suez in Alpe Seychouada. Enjoy the stunning landscapes and pristine alpine pastures that make this region a true hiker's paradise. On day 4, we will embark on an exhilarating hike to explore the moon-like landscape atop the Salah Group, a true heart of the Dolomites. And let's talk about the food a bit. Right here, this is your day 3 featured meal. You'll savor a Michelin-starred dining experience at Hotel Terral's Suisson restaurant located in the historic Ladine village of Selva de Val Gardena. On day 5, here's your hike. We'll hike across the Laguzoil Plateau along the historic military path, an open-air museum carved into the rock. And with that, I truly hope you enjoyed learning about these 2 incredible hiking and walking tours. And I would like to now pass the virtual microphone back to my co-guide, Anna.
Awesome. You had me fooled, Brian. I was like, Brian's definitely taken Italian before. That's pretty good.
I have, but it's a bit rusty.
I would say that was pretty freaking good.
Oh,
Thank you,
thank you.
Ian, for highlighting these trips. I got the opportunity to go out to the Dolomites last summer, and it was absolutely spectacular. My mind was blown, and I got to do both riding and hiking, and it was definitely awesome to see it by foot because you just get really into it. You're like one with the rock and what makes the Dolomites actually the Dolomites. So it's truly spectacular, and I would recommend it to anyone. So I guess out of the two of these, I guess my only other option is to go to the French and Italian Alps next. What a shame. All right. Now I'm gonna have everyone close their eyes for just 1 second and just imagine that you have just returned from your trek travel hiking and walking tour. Your trip was amazing. The food, every bite that you had was perfection. The hotels were warm and comfortable, like visiting a friend's house. And some of the hikes had your blood pumping and your lungs working overtime. But the view at the top was always worth it. Imagine you've got captivating stories to tell and unbelievable photos to share with all of your friends and family. That's what it's like to come back from a trek travel hiking and walking tour. And we cannot wait to create the same experience for you in real time in 2025. So if you're excited about the destinations we told you about tonight, as well as our other destinations that we have on the docket, we have a few more details about how you can snag your own spots on one of these trips. So head on over to our website. It's right here on the screen. We got a fancy new website this past year where we added more videos, more key information on our trip page. It's easier to kind of navigate around. And we've also been able to launch our 2025 travel dates and so much more for you to check out. So definitely poke around on the website if you haven't already. But most importantly, one of the things we like to highlight is details regarding traveling to and from a region. It's one of the biggest questions that we get asked by our guests who travel with us is, where do I stay before and after my trip? So on every trip page, we have a detailed section called before and after your trip. And it's your travel details as far as what cities you should stay in before or afterwards. And then we also give you at least 2 or 3 hotels recommended that we recommend that you stay in these regions. So definitely check that out. And if you need more help with logistical questions, feel free to call our trip consultants, and we can even send you over to our travel coordinator as well, who can help with those details. All right, before we wrap things up and before I send it over to Marcus for a moment, if you are still browsing the new website, we just want to do a quick plug for all of these virtual events that we do. It's much easier to find our list of events on our website now. So along the top bar, you will see a tab that says resources. And under that resources tab, if you click it, there will be a tab for all of our events. So you can take a look at different upcoming events that you might be interested in and hearing more about. So feel free to take a peek at that and jump in and join us on those. They usually happen every Wednesday night as well. All right. And then our next 4 action steps. The first action step is to watch out for an email from our team where we recap today's presentation and thank you for attending. And then 2 is check out that brand new website that I just told you about. Definitely poke around on there. Check out our trip finder tool and look through all the photos to make you dream about your next trek travel trip. And then next step is to give us a call and get you booked on your next trip and make sure that you're on the perfect trip for you based on your lifestyle, kind of what you're after. If you're a foodie, if you're a wino, like whatever it may be, we want to make sure that you're on the perfect trip for you. And then last but not least, you get to get excited about your trip. It is part of traveling in general, is just the excitement that you get to live in before you actually depart on your trip. But along with getting excited for that also comes with preparation. So lace up those boots, get outside, get on your trails, or even just hitting the gym. It doesn't really matter. Anything that you can do that will get you in shape is awesome. And then speaking of prep, this is a great cue for me to pass it back over to Marcus to provide some awesome tips and tricks for you guys. So a little background about Marcus. He has been a personal trainer since 1993, and in 2009, he founded Fit for Trips to prepare adventure travelers for their bucket list hikes, which is perfect for this kind of event. He's got decades of experience and thousands of hikers that he's trained over 100 different itineraries, over 30 different countries. So he's pretty confident that he can help you reach your fitness goals and be fully prepared for your next trek travel, hiking, and walking adventure. So Marcus, without further ado, I might invite you back on and allow you to share your information.
All right, great. Thanks for having me. Can you see my screen? Are we good?
All good.
Okay, super. All right, yeah, look, I've been in the industry for a long time and these itineraries are just stunning. So it's kind of why I got in the business. The way I want you to kind of think about it is when you think about what destination and what trip you want to go on, I don't want you to think in terms of how fit you are, because that's something that there's a formula for, and we'll talk about that. So when you're looking through the Trek Travel website and you see some amazing trips, first think, hey, would I like to do that? Talk with them about it, and then start exploring like how to get fit. So don't let that be an obstacle for you. Let's kind of get into it. So I love this screen. This was my friends and I. We were getting ready for to climb some 14ers in the Aspen area. And it's a common thing that at this time, this is like day before, everybody's a little bit nervous, kind of getting all their snacks ready and everything like that. But it's really a fun and an exciting time. So I can empathize with you guys when you're on a new trip. And there's nothing better to mitigate those issues than, of course, with training, and when the Trek Travel staff will make you feel comfortable as well. So there are some common client concerns. I've been doing this for a long time, and these are ones that some of you might be able to relate with. People don't want to be the slowest in the group. There's always the concern of falling for some folks. Age is a concern. Breathing at altitude, although typically, I forget what itinerary they were talking about at about 8,000 feet. That's somewhere in the middle. It's not usually a concern. For some, it might be. Again, there are a way to mitigate that. Of course, knees on the downhill and concern with leg strength on the uphill. So I want you to think about training from a different prism. So it's not a typical way to think about certainly a general fitness program or really any other, let's say, a recreational activity or sport. Hiking has 5 primary pillars, and I call them the Fit for Trips Big 5. And you want to make sure you address all of them. So we got walk inclines, walk stairs, walk lunges, walk far, and high intensity interval training. So let's talk about walk inclines first. The reason why this is important is you want to lengthen and strengthen your Achilles and calf muscles. It could be treadmill, it could be hills. Maybe you can walk to the base or drive to the base of a hill. Maybe it's hiking with hills. But you want to make sure you lengthen and strengthen your Achilles and calf prior to getting to your destination, because what you don't want is have trained on a flat, flat horizontal area, maybe in your neighborhood, and then you might develop some acute, Achilles tendonitis or something like that. Again, easy to mitigate, but something you want to incorporate. The next thing is walking stairs. Stairs is probably the biggest bang for your buck. You have the strength and endurance that's required to going up the stairs. And then you have going down the stairs, which provides what's called eccentric strength. And when you train going downstairs, it'll make you more sure-footed. It'll provide confidence and stability going downhill. And they're not replaceable. It's like apples and oranges. So it's not like you do the treadmill or the stairs. You really want to do both. Now, the volume of how much of that you do kind of depends on the trip. The stairs probably the lowest volume, but it really depends. So then we get to the third one, which is walk lunges. But walk lunges is really just a catch-all term for leg strength. So walk lunges are good. Step ups. Some people like some more of the compound lifts and, the Olympic lifts, like deadlifts and some squats and things like that. So leg strength is critical. And then walking far. And of course, that's all relative. Generally, if you think about training for a trip in 2 phases, you've got kind of the base phase, which I say is outside of a 12-week period prior to your departure. And then a peak phase, which is 12 weeks, within 12 weeks of your departure date. Generally, walking far, spending more time on your feet is critical in that phase. This is a good a good opportunity to point out to you that you do not have to hike to get in shape for hiking. I often hear that from people online. I've been doing it long enough. You don't have to. That's not to say if you have hiking, of course you should do it. And your far walks or your walking in general could be on hiking trails. If you have a traditional work schedule, then that's typically something you're going to do once a week on the weekend. So again, difference. So base phase is probably more of an opportunity for more strength development. And then when you go into peak phase, the volume increases, and that's where you're going to spend time with more walking and more stairs, more treadmill work. And then we get to the last one, which is high intensity interval training. I won't talk too much about that one. It's not a requirement for every trip. Anything that does have, let's say, 8,000 feet or above, I do recommend it. And also, if you want to add another element to your training regimen that allows you to recover faster when you're with your group and you're climbing, and then you stop, and then of course you want to make sure you get a good recovery before you guys start back up again as you head toward your destination for that day. The other thing too is doing some HIIT training that allows you to walk for longer periods of time before you actually have to take a rest. So anyway, this was my friends and I. We went to Rim, and this was us celebrating an Arizona trip that we did. So I want to provide you with some practical tips. So let me go to, let's see here. I'm going to go to another screen here. I'm going to take you to the Dolomites. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yep.
I'm assuming you can. Okay, great. So let's look at this trip. So we got the Dolomites trip. Let's look at what day. We've got day 2 here. So let's look at day 2. It says 1,034 feet of elevation gain. Okay, so let's go to this calculator right here. Okay, so it was 1,034 feet. Okay, so let's kind of plug that in. So by the way, these tools are something that will be provided for you by the Trek Travel folks. So 1,034 feet, got to put that into the calculator. Whoop. So we put that in the elevation gain. Okay, and let's say you're comfortable walking at a 10% incline on the treadmill. Okay, so if you go about 1.96 or 2 miles on the treadmill, that'll help you it'll give you some training for that particular day. Now, of course, I recommend that you diversify your training, but I think it's kind of fun when you look at your hiking training through, rather than time, which is something we often do, but look at it through the terms of distance and elevation gain, which you have all that information on your itinerary. So let's take this to the stair climbing calculator. So let's do the same thing. Let's say 1,034, okay, feet of elevation gain. It could be stairs in your house. It could be the high school stadium. Just bring a ruler, measure the stairs. Let's say they're 7 inches. Then you got to put in how many steps there are per lap. Let's say there are 40. That would tell you that you need to do 44 laps in order to get 1,034 feet. In terms of elevation gain, there is what I call true elevation gain, and then there's virtual elevation gain. You're actually getting work here. You're actually going up. You're carrying your body weight up the stairs. Whereas the treadmill, you're not actually getting actual work where you're actually getting from one destination to the other. But again, as I said, diversifying your training is the most important thing. So just kind of mix it up and get a flavor of all of these things. And I am going to stop sharing my screen. And whenever it's time for questions for me, then Trek Travel folks will let you know.
Awesome. Thank you, Marcus. That was super, yeah, super, I don't want to say like, yeah, educative. Is that a word? Educative?
That works for me.
Educational.
We get it.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
It's enlightening.
Like my brain is done.
Yeah.
Um,
Great job. Thank you, Marcus, for being here.
yes, thank you. And I'd love to open up the floor at this point. I don't think we've had any questions in the chat box, but we've had a lot of good answers for our trivia questions. So I'll open the floor to any of you guys who might have questions for either myself, Brian, or even Marcus, as far as how to train for your trip, how to get prepared, or just kind of better setting expectations for the trip. Looks like Stuart Wong has a question. Feel free to unmute yourself, Stuart, and ask away.
Hey, Marcus, thanks. That was great. Could you give us your suggestions for acclimatization? So let's say a peak is 14,000. How long and at what height should you acclimatize? Let's say at 7,000.
So you're saying okay, rephrase one more time. You
So
mentioned
let's say your
14,000. Yeah.
peaks are going to be 14
Yes.
on day one. Before the trip, where should you acclimatize and at what altitude?
That's a good question. I've done trips where we fly in the next day. We're at, let's say usually about 8,000 feet. And then on day 3, we're making the summit. So I think it just depends on how your body acclimates, or how you're accustomed to doing it. And if you're not familiar with it, then you might want to give yourself maybe 2 or 3 days to acclimatize. But there are some people that'll fly in and the next day they'll do a 14,000 foot peak. So, and the other thing too, when it comes to high altitude, is going very slow. So as long as you keep your heart rate very low and you keep your respirations low, then that mitigates a lot of the issues. And even if you didn't acclimatize as much as you would have preferred to, maybe due to time or scheduling, then it's not uncommon for you to still have success. And of course, another way to mitigate, just show up in as absolute, best shape as you can and diversify your training with all of the things that I mentioned. Stuart, I don't know if I answered your question totally, but there you have it, my friend.
Yeah, and Stuart, I also do some coaching as well. And so in the studies that I've read, it takes about 1 to 2 weeks for your body to physiologically adapt for acclimatization. So, and it takes about that same length, about 1 to 2 weeks for you to lose those benefits if you come back down to the altitude that you were at beforehand. But what I'm getting at is if you aren't able to get there to whatever the new altitude is 1 to 2 weeks in advance, then the best thing you could do is to get there right before it starts. So then you're not suffering from the altitude sickness and you haven't crossed into the benefits of of reaching that high altitude acclimatization and letting your red blood cells react to that. So 1 to 2 weeks is generally how long you want to be at the altitude that you're going to be performing the work at.
Awesome.
Marcus, if you want to just stay on, you're welcome to just stay on. We're just doing all Q&A right now, so feel free to keep your video on if you want to.
Yeah, sure.
I have a question. So you're one of our partners at Trek Travel, but what kind of offering do you offer our guests, and what kind of stuff can you help them with if they are looking for more than just a few tips here and there? They really want to train for something big. What do you offer?
Yeah, so for everybody, you contact me for a free consultation. And I kind of hate that word, that free consultation. It sounds so kind of cheesy. And Trek Travel will send you a link, to schedule. But really, it's really a discussion, and it's a lot of fun. So what I have you do is I ask you kind of what are your biggest concerns, and what trip are you going to go on? And so what'll end up happening in that conversation is you'll either learn a lot in the conversation, and you'll be like, that's great, Marcus, thank you so much, I'm very comfortable working independently, and then off you go. And then you might also say, Marcus, that was really great. Tell me what tell me what you do. Tell me what the custom program looks like. And I'd say it's kind of a 50-50. Like I said, it's a conversation. At the end of at the end, you'll find my goal is to make sure that you're confident, okay, with your approach to your training. So it's something you'll decide at the end of the conversation. You'll be like, I'm confident, that was great. I'm doing mostly what I needed to do, but that was some good information. Or you might say, I'm most confident, Marcus. Let's discuss what kind of custom training looks like. You get a discount with Trek Travel. And when we do work together, I will provide for you your weekly goals for elevation gain and for distance. I implement what I call a lunge progression for strength, a balance progression, which for many people is really important. So think about it, there's 3 components. One, a tracking chart for elevation gain and distance, which I find people love using. You can track all your information, and then it tracks the percentage of the activity that you're doing, your trending average, which of course I'm losing you guys by getting into that information, but it's really a lot of fun. I think you'll find it interesting. And then the lunge progression is something that I developed, where you have basically 10 lunges, and you start at the beginning and you kind of progress through over time, even maybe well above and beyond our training time together. And the same thing with the balance progression. I've got like 3 tracks, what I call a knee track, a hip track, and a tandem track. And I'll figure out where it is you start on those tracks, and then you can progress through. A lot of times people might just work with me for 1 month. I set you on a trajectory, and then that chart is a 12-week training chart. And after that 4 weeks, off you go on your own. And some people say to me, Marcus, this is great, let's continue on. So there's never any, you never have to work with me for 12 weeks. It might be 8, it might be 4, or for many of you, it might actually be just a consultation. And I just make you feel comfortable about what you're doing and maybe fill in a few gaps so you can work independently.
Great, thank you.
That's
Any
awesome.
other questions?
I just want to say how huge of a resource that is, like that you are, Marcus, to our guests, and just kind of like helping them build confidence before they even come on a trip. I think it's really awesome to have you as a partner and to be able to offer this to people. And yeah, it's unlike anything else that we've ever offered before. So definitely.
Well, I'm really grateful. I love your itineraries, and I never want fitness to be an excuse for somebody to do a trip. So even if you look at the itineraries and you're like, wow, that one looks pretty rough, you'll talk with the Trek Travel team. If it makes sense and they think that we should have a conversation, then we will. And you might think it's far away from what you are able to accomplish, but I can assess that pretty quickly. But I work with the Trek Travel team on that, so we can collaborate with that. Just don't be afraid to dream big, put it that way.
I love that.
Awesome.
Any other lingering questions for anybody? I think that might be it. All right. Well, then I say that concludes our event for this evening. So thank you everyone for joining, for participating, for jumping into the chat box, and yeah, just for being here and listening to some of our newer trip launches. And thank you, Marcus, for being here and educating some of our guests on your services and yeah, and everything you can provide. So thank you all, and hope you have a lovely rest of your Wednesday evening.
Yeah. Thank you all. Thanks, Marcus.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Cheers.